What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're going to be talking about Static Season 1, Number 5 by Vita Ayala and Nicholas Draper Ivy. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how Milestone Media just made two different groups of villains from the Static Shock animated series canon in the DC Comics universe. Not only that, but we're also going to talk about whether or not another prominent Static Shock animated series villain will also be making his return as well. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of these characters, so if you aren't familiar with the Static Shock animated series, you'll know who they are. We're going to talk about all this and more right now, but first, if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I post multiple videos throughout the week, plus live stream the Blerd Cave every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So hit that bell button, that way you don't miss anything. Also, if you enjoy the video, Hulk smash that like button. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about Static Season 1, Number 5.
You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Okay, so during the course of this comic, we see the battle between Static and Hotstreak, what is very likely not their final battle, but we got to see a really nice turnaround with the character of Virgil and how he is once again using his brains, using his intelligence, not just his superhuman capabilities to defeat his villains, and he's gonna have to do it again in the upcoming issue of Static Season 1, Number 6, which will be the season finale issue, and it promises to be a major battle. I'm talking about knockdown, drag out level fights, because Static is not just going to be going up against Hotstreak in this next issue. He's also got to contend with two different groups of villains from the Static Shock animated series who have come together now in this new rebooted Milestone universe, which is a part of the DC Comics universe. This is a world where characters like Superman and so on and so forth, well, in this case where Superman is technically dead, Krypton and all that other stuff exist in this particular universe, meaning that the Milestone Media universe is just another Earth in the DC Comics universe's multiverse. First and foremost is that Static encounters a group of metahumans, Bang Babies, while they're trying to track down all the other Bang Babies that were rounded up by Hotstreak and these shady government ops. Namely, he's trying to find Daisy, who has been apprehended, but in this we are introduced to a character who is a villain from the Static Shock animated series, who seems to from the jump be very antagonistic towards Darius and Static, and this is a character by the name of Puff. Puff is a Bang Baby who can transform her body into different types of gases and vapors. Not only can she transform into various types of gases, but she can also expel gases of different types from her mouth. These can be poisonous gases, knockout gases, even corrosive acid gas. Her affiliation was with the Metamen, which was a group of Bang Babies who came together and pretty much acted as villains. For those who aren't familiar, this group also included the character Hotstreak. And what makes it even more interesting is that in the background later on in this comic, we also see one of Puff's partners, Onyx, a Bang Baby who possesses superhuman strength, and his body has been mutated in such a way that for all intents and purposes, he's become very durable. Onyx and Puff have always kind of been a package deal, and since Puff created the Metamen, Onyx joined up with her, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, we also had Hotstreak involved in that group as well. Some of the other characters that we see pop up in this are also characters who come from a group called the Meta Breed. This is another gang of Bang Babies that also existed in the Static Shock animated series. This was a group that actually at one point in time was led by Batman's arch nemesis, the Joker, and also contained various and sundry other characters for both the DC and Milestone Comics universe. Case in point, one of the Blood Syndicate members, Aqua Maria, was at one point a member of the Meta Breed. Now, this group also includes included some characters that pop up in this particular comic. We see characters like Talon, who is our feathery bird-like friend that we see at the end of this comic, a character who possesses a powerful sonic scream, and as one would imagine, having wings, she has the ability to fly. We also see a rather weird-looking Frankenberry-looking character, d-struct. D-struct is a bang baby who has the ability to unleash powerful ionic blast. Not only can he unleash these ionic blasts, but his body is literally made up of pure ionic energy. Now, he does have the ability to turn back to normal, but this isn't something that he can do long term. But he was basically one of the heavy hitters of the meta breed. And then our other character that we see introduced here is the character Shiv, with the giant blade sticking out of his left arm. He's able to create solid light constructs, though his main weapon of choice is turning his hands into swords and blades and other types of like stabbing weapons. But he can actually create just about anything he wants, even things with complex moving parts. These characters are coming together, so basically what we're getting is a mix of the meta breed and the meta men coming together. So that can only mean one thing. That means there's a character who is lurking somewhere in the shadows who very likely may or may not make an appearance in the season finale of Static Season 1, but I think is a character we'll see teased at the very least and will very likely make an appearance in Static Season 2, and that is the character Eben. Eben was the leader of the meta breed and was one of Static's chief antagonists, probably the closest thing to an arch nemesis that he had in that entire series, a guy who was possessed with the power to create and manipulate shadows. He could even use shadows and darkness to transform himself and shapeshift, as well as using shadows to transport himself from one place to another. Not only could he do that, but he could even use his shadows and darkness to envelop people in them, basically absorbing them into himself. And really his only weakness to speak of was Static's own powers, which basically made Eben a perfect dark mirror to not just Static as a person, but even his own capabilities, because both Eben and Static were pretty much two sides of the same coin. And I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to wind up seeing this character also introduced. I seriously doubt that Vita Ayala, Nicholas Draper Ivory, and Chris Cross are going to reach into the Static Shock animated series mythos and just bring over some of these characters and not bring over the rest of them. I just don't see that being a thing. I think we will see Eben sooner, if not later. But anyways, let me know what you thought about Static Season 1, number 5, and the return, the triumphant return of the meta men and the meta breed, and do you think that we'll see Eben anytime soon? Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.